Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are doing the Season 9 of MasterChef Junior, and it was the 100th episode, but they didn't say a word about it, which kind of really shocked me. And it was number 6, and it was pancakes and ice cream.
Yeah, I thought that the whole episode that Gordon would be like, it's the 100th episode! It's the 100th episode! Because remember that in MasterChef Season 10? Every single episode he was like, it's Season 10! I don't think this is quality for Season 10!
Oh yeah, I remember that over and over and over. All of them too, all the judges.
In fact, they advertised the next season of MasterChef, and it looks like it's going to be really cringeworthy because it's going to be all about the battle of the ages, like Gen Z cooking versus millennial cooking.
And it's May 29th.
I think that's stupid as hell. I'm really not looking forward to that at all. So sorry. I'm really that doesn't sound good. Like, they should all just be competing on their own merit, and not like, oh, how does the Gen Z food compare with the boomer food? Like, no, that's stupid. What do you think, Safi?
It just seems like they have to. It used to be when the show started out in the first years, they just had the competition.
Yeah.
MasterChef season whatever, and then that was what it was. And now they've got to have some kind of catchy little, promotion to it. So they're making it age groups.
To be fair, this season of MasterChef Junior is kind of lackluster. Like, it really doesn't feel very epic like how it used to, or very special. Do you agree with that, Safi? Because, like, I look back at, like, the older seasons, and they really feel like they're special events, and, like, they're really, really important, but this, it's now turned into kind of like, it's MasterChef Junior. What do you expect?
Well, they're kids, and so I don't mind a lot, but I think he has so much going on that he doesn't have the time to spend on the show. And so I think that's part of the minimal effort. And his daughter is not allowed, it seems, to do more than what she does.
Yeah, I told you. Isn't it, like, really obvious that, like, she's kind of, like, on training wheels?
Yeah, and I think she does a good job when she does her critique. She's very, I don't know, she covers everything, and she's very honest, I believe. And, I don't know, I think she does a good job. I don't think she needs to be on too many training wheels. I guess if you want to be funny, extra funny or something, that may not be who she is either, And he's been doing it for years and years and years and years. And she's just started. And she's also, like, she's not a little kid anymore, but she's still very young. So, anyway, I don't think she's doing so badly that she can't, unless she doesn't want to. Could be she doesn't want to, because it's her father's show. So, I don't know. But
I feel like it would be perfect for her to take over, because
yeah, I do too.
It's MasterChef Junior, and so it would be kind of interesting for, like, the child of Gordon to be the judge of these children. Right?
Yeah, and then he could just come in as a guest every so often.
Yeah.
Because he really does have so much going on. I mean, right during this episode, for commercials, he's got Next Level Chef, and that's coming up, the finale episodes. And then, of course, he has MasterChef. And he might have some other stuff going on, which was going on. I don't know if it still is. So anyway, that's just what we've been thinking about overall, the tone of the episodes. But I think it's a group of good group of kids.
Kind of. I mean, this season,
Nice, friendly.
this season has been really, really off. Like, it's just it's come and go. Like, there's like 5 episodes left or so. Like, I don't know. It feels very lackluster. Like, it feels like I don't know, like the American Horror Story New York City of MasterChef Junior.
Oh, there's going to be on Hulu, there's going to be a big, it might be on MSNBC, a big thing about the AIDS epidemic in New York, which is kind of weird because that horror story would have gone hand and foot with that. So, and they showed all these pictures and it's coming
Safi,
up. So,
you're obsessed with AIDS.
well, I saw it on the African end, okay, and what people thought. They were scared. They thought mosquitoes were bringing it. You have a terrible problem with malaria there where we were, and they thought, well, maybe it's also bringing in AIDS. Well,
Is the AIDS here in the room with you right now, Safi?
What?
Is the AIDS here in the room with you right now?
No, you brought it up.
Is it gonna hurt you?
Okay, just.
Are you
Anyway,
scared
I think
of
we should
AIDS?
start talking about the episode.
What would you rather have, pancakes with AIDS or
Marco.
AIDS with pancakes?
Okay, you just have to excuse him.
AIDS.
So anyway, since they're doing, now this is kind of unusual, at least for this season, maybe even for last season. They're just doing one challenge. I mean, they have been just doing one challenge. Today, or yesterday, they did 2.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I did too, because, but they seemed like they were really, they're under a time crunch and they were watching the time very closely. And so the first one was a team challenge, but not these big groups. There's only, right now there's 6 people left. So they were teams of 2. So 6, that's 3 teams of 2. So what they did was, this was the theme of it was, I said pancakes and ice cream, but it was centered around the blonde judge who kind of irks me sometimes. She says, these are going to be things that we do at my house. And so she gets out and she puts her apron on and she demonstrates how to make pancakes, because the first challenge will revolve around these 3 teams of 2 and a competition with the pancakes. So she shows, I mean, it's very simple. She makes 3 pancakes. I guess the batter's already there. And makes the pancakes. So she shows exactly how to put it on the griddle, like the scoop that you use, how much to do with the scoop, how to put the scoop over the griddle and pour it down. I mean, exactly. And so where it's a round pancake. Then you make 3 pancakes. And then you have to put some fruit of whatever you want on top and some coulis, which is like a fruit syrup. So what did she have? Strawberries?
Yeah.
And then so she made 3 pancakes, a little bit of strawberries, and then she got like a strawberry, probably coulis, which is a syrup, strawberry syrup on top, and it drizzles. So you drizzle it a certain way on top. Oh, and then you end it with powdered sugar. Almost forgot about that. And that is what they all had to do. And so, but they had to do it a time limit of 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And so they had to have a perfect 3 stack with all those things I just said, but they could have, if somebody wanted to use blueberry and have blueberry coulis.
Now, I'd like to talk about pancakes because
Okay.
Perfect pancakes are really hard to do. And I've really come to think like it's great to have like imperfect pancakes because it makes them more interesting looking. Like they can kind of look like if you cut a log in half and you see like the center of a log and that kind of cool design. And I really think that, pancakes look better when they're kind of imperfect rather than like, perfectly circle and they're, and so it's kind of a hard challenge in my opinion. But like, it seemed like everyone had a problem with it
Yeah.
for the most part. Like, it was a very difficult challenge.
Well, to me, they didn't pay attention to how she
No.
got the batter from the dip the scooping thing. It was like it was a ladle, basically like a soup ladle.
Maybe they thought that, like, oh, we know how to do this. We don't really need to pay attention.
They should have paid attention, because the way she did it, you shouldn't have any trouble getting some kind of circle pancake. I guess you have to have them all. They have to be perfectly the same size. You know, we've got this thing with perfection and presentation, which goes with this meat having to be medium rare.
Medium rare.
Which really irks me. But anyway, and to me, I mean, this is fruit syrup. It's really, that's like a special thing to order at a restaurant. Usually you get maple syrup. Or at home, you have maple syrup on the top. You don't use fruit coulis. But I mean, that's like a special thing. At a restaurant, they might have that available if you want to use it. But I never order. I mean, I never used. What do you do, Marco? Do you use at a restaurant? Don't you usually just use maple syrup?
It all depends. Like, sometimes I might want to put some peanut butter on top of the pancake and then put syrup on it. Or if I'm in a blueberry mood, I'll put blueberry syrup on it.
Yeah, we have blueberry syrup.
Haven't you ever been in a blueberry mood, Safi?
Yeah, I've used that blueberry syrup.
It's
from Stonewall Kitchens.
What I really like is to put maple syrup on, and then put whipped cream on top of that. Because
they do that in restaurants.
The way that the whipped cream tastes on top of the maple syrup is really, really good. It's a really pleasant kind of, but you have to be careful because the whipped cream melts really fast.
Yeah, because everything's so warm.
That's the only downside to it. But other than that, it's really good. Like, I'm kind of a pancake master. You know, Safi can attest to that, right, Safi?
Marco's really good at pancakes. I mean, they're perfect. And you can get them, like he was saying, you can get them any way you want. He knows how to make them all.
Yeah.
Little to big. So, yeah. That's what I said. And if they would have paid attention to how she dropped it from the dipper, and because it really does make a difference, you can tell. Anyway, so they all made several, and they are not necessarily good. So Asher said he made tons, so I kind of thought they might do it. They might win because he says he makes them all the time. I kind of believe it because I think this kid, he and Michael will be chefs, and maybe Bryson too. And Remy and Alfred, I don't know.
I think Alfred will grow up to be Napoleon Dynamite.
I think Alfred needs to be on. He needs to be on TV or in a movie. He's really he's a very unique person.
He could be like, those Hallmark movies.
Oh yeah.
Where like the girl moves to like a farm area, and she falls in love with like the farmer guy. Like, that's what he could do. He could be in like a farm Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I think he really has a lot of character. He should be on TV or in the movies. And Marco thinks so too. And they were all very upset at the end about him.
Yeah, so. Daphne cried.
Yeah, I know.
That was really weird.
I know.
He's
a very interesting, unique person.
She has never shown any emotion on the show until this episode. So, like, I don't know. That was weird.
So anyway, they all made quite a few stacks, and it looked like I said, Asher, because it was Asher and Bryson, Alfred and Remy, and Michael and Jordan, which was interesting because they were saying Michael Jordan, the basketball player who was magnificent, but it was just interesting how that worked out. And remember, Michael, didn't he win last week?
I can't remember.
Anyway, he did. He's the one that made that Jamaican type of dish, or the Caribbean type of dish, because his father, with the mushrooms. So anyway, it was Michael and Jordan. That was the last team. So Alfred didn't look like he's doing very well. He wasn't good at, really most of them weren't they were having trouble with it, with the scoop and just pouring out the batter from the scoop. They got everything else right. But you know, the pancakes, you have to have those perfect before everything else turns out. So it ended up, Alfred and Remy did 7 perfect ones out of several. But those were the ones that were to their satisfaction. And then Asher and Bryson, then they went next, and they got 9. And so they already had beaten Alfred and Remy, so they were hopeful they were going to win. And then the last one was Michael and Jordan. Like I said, Michael won last week. Well, they made 10, so they won. And so their prize was they are exempt from having to do any more cooking, so they don't have to do the ice cream challenge. And they're already in the top 5 automatically. So, they get to do one last thing. And that is they had these super shooter things. And they get to shoot the 2 judges with toppings. So they pick Chef Gordon and Aaron.
And I kind of feel like, haven't they done this already this season?
I don't know.
Well, I feel like it's kind of, I feel like after, in a season, after like Gordon has already been chosen, that if they do this type of thing again, it should default go to one of the girls, because I feel like everyone should have to get squirted. It seems like Gordon's going to get picked every time. And so in order to make it more interesting, you know, you should get to see all of them get squirted.
Yeah.
You know.
But it did get all over the floor underneath them because they were sliding around. It was dangerous.
And you know what I was saying when they squirted them? I said, this is for those frozen meals. That's what I said. And
Yeah.
that's what I would have said in person. I would have... Safi, what are you doing?
Dropping my notebook.
Well, let's get back on track here. You know, we
Okay,
can't.
well, I got it now, Marco. What's the matter with you?
You know, it's not like a. This is a race, Safi. This isn't a walk.
What?
I don't know.
So then they shoot them. And they wearing goggles.
They're doing
thank
a
goodness,
weird
because it
thing.
came out really quickly, hard, and I mean they really got sprayed. You know, it's not like spraying somebody's kind of like, you know, like very slow and gooey, and it just kind of drips down. This was like a blast. And I think it would have, you know, if they wouldn't have had goggles on, they could have gotten eye damage. It was really hard and fast. So anyway, so Michael and Remy, not Remy, Michael and Jordan get to go up to the the balcony, and they get to have an ice cream sundae. And so they make themselves ice cream sundaes. So the rest get to make an ice cream dessert. And the rest is Remy, Asher, Bryson, and Alfred. So they get going. They have 75 minutes, I believe. And we don't see that many problems. We see possible problems. Like Bryson, he had been trying to caramelize some pecans, and he burned them. And so he made his ice cream, which was just like a vanilla, and he picked out tried to pick out the ones that weren't burned. And then and then he had a cornbread base, and he made peaches, and he caramelized those, cut them up into pieces, and he caramelized them. And then he put pecans on the top. And it was kind of like, really, if you want to say, a southern dish. And it looked really good. He fixed up a fresh batch of pecans, and I guess he caramelized those too, and those were not burned. And he put those on the top.
Safi, your review has been so bad that I'm almost falling asleep.
I'll let you go on then.
Oh, God.
Okay, you tell what else.
What is it? Because you're watching these other shitty YouTubers who don't even review, they just, like, go through the episodes, so you're, like, trying to emulate them or something?
Okay, Marco, you can do the rest of it, okay? Go ahead.
Good. Well, Bryson, he did something smart, and that is that, even though he burned his pecans, he picked out the best ones, and he tried to salvage them, and he tried to still make it work. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of suspense over whether that would work at the end. And it did. They did this really stupid fake-out thing.
I don't like that.
This is how you can tell that they're really struggling to make the season interesting, is that, like, Gordon had to do this terrible fake-out where he said, I'm really disappointed. And then they cut to commercials.
And so you're thinking, uh-oh.
And then he says, I'm really disappointed that your dad isn't here to taste this. Like, oh, God. Like, I really hated that. I thought that was in poor taste. So.
Well, did you see Daphne when he said, I'm really disappointed?
No, what'd she do?
She's like, what? Are you insane? She gave him this really bad look. It was funny.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
I bet she talked to him about that off camera.
I bet she did too. Because she's his mother, she has kids, and you could tell, he's already, like I said a few times, and he said this at the beginning, he gets nervous about when he cooks, like, it's not going to be right. So he's not too completely secure and comfortable, but he does really well. He tries his best.
And you think about, like, if you're a parent at home with your child and they gave you, like, a drawing or something, and maybe, like, the mom is on vacation and you're like, I'm really disappointed that your mom isn't here to see this. I'm going to have to take a picture of it. Like, that's the type of thing it is. And it's like, he's really, really desperate to make this show interesting. And doing that doesn't make it interesting at all.
No. To me, it's like abusive in a way.
Yeah, because I could tell that it looked good. Like, I'd like to have a peach dessert. I'm really, like, missing, like, having a peach dessert. And so, like...
Yeah, we didn't do it last year. We did it the year before last. And it was good.
It was 3.
Well,
we did it in 2021.
I know it wasn't last year, but it was great. We made, like, how many peach desserts did we make? 3
peach cobblers, a peach cheesecake. Because, like, they're good.
Mm-hmm. And fresh peaches. Wow.
Safi likes to have peaches, but she also likes to have AIDS.
Oh, Marco, cut it out.
Anyways, I thought that the funniest part was how, Alfred's dish, I thought that it looked like a dish that you could get at TGI Fridays. Because at TGI Fridays, I've had some of their desserts. They kind of make you sick. Like, the TGI Fridays food in general, it kind of makes me sick. And so, well, it does. It's like they give you so much food. There's like 1,000 calories in every single dish on their whole menu. And
you've seen that online, too.
And their desserts are like gigantic. Or it's just like a lot of shit. And that's what Alfred's dish looked like to me. It looked like something you could get at TGI Fridays. So I was really wondering, like, why are they criticizing this when TGI Fridays does it all the time? I mean, the only dish that I've had from them that wasn't like that was this Oreo thing. They had this, like, Oreo ice cream thing, And the only reason why it wasn't like a huge thing was because it melted by the time we got home. So, like, yeah.
Well, the thing with Alfred is he made 3 scoops of ice cream, and the rest of them only had 1. And so, the thing is, they all made good ice cream.
See,
But
Safi.
it was also the dessert.
See,
that
look.
counted.
Look at don't their desserts remind you of Alfred's?
Yeah. Well, on the right,
that
thing right there.
That was the Oreo thing that melted. It wasn't very good at all.
Oh.
It was pretty bad. If I were you, I would recommend like the brownie with the pecans or the Cake Boss cake slice, the rainbow cake.
Well, he had like ice cream with a cornflake crust and some kind of honey syrup and pecans and bananas and whipped cream. He did all that, which is, I think, is funny because we saw one MasterChef episode, I think this was the adults, where somebody had whipped cream and they didn't know how to do it and they over whipped it. And there were at least 2 kids out of the 3 that made whipped cream, and they didn't have any trouble at all. So I thought that was funny. So, but he had 3 scoops, so that bothered them. Which was
they were very
funny.
upset that he had 3 scoops.
Yeah. I just thought he was thinking of them, 3 people.
Yeah.
Each one gets their own scoop of ice cream.
Yeah.
That's what I think he was thinking. And that makes sense. I don't blame him. So anyway.
I think that Gordon's just still mad that his steak wasn't medium rare.
Yeah, I know. So then the last 2 were Asher and Remy. And like I said, everybody made good ice cream. And Asher he made a take on s'mores. He thought about camping and s'mores, and he put toasted marshmallows and in his ice cream, and then he toasted strawberries, which I have no idea how you do that, except you just heat them up. And they went all around. I thought that was a little much, actually. He put a whole ring of strawberries around his chocolate cake, and
well, they said something about it that I immediately was thinking.
What?
That his dessert was like a finale dessert.
Yes,
it was like something you'd see at the finale. So
that's what it said. It was Chef Gordon. He said his dessert reminded me of the dessert you would see in the season finale.
And that just shows he's probably going to be in the finale.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I wonder. And he also made a graham cracker crumble. So he's doing like a dessert and like a memory of s'mores, which it was very creative, and it was really good. And the last one was Remy, and she made like a peanut butter cup ice cream with a chocolate peanut butter cookie, and then she put potato chips and pretzel pieces in the cookie for salt and crunch. And she did have a little problem with the cookie in that it was overcooked, and it took the whole plate.
And it was funny because if you remember, Safi, if you don't have permanent brain damage, if you remember in the holiday MasterChef Junior, they had like a cookie debacle where Gordon thought that the cookie wasn't cooked enough, and he said that he wanted it to be like in the oven for 5 more minutes or something.
Oh, I think I remember.
And then what's her name, Matilda? She said, "Safi, stop chewing on ice." God.
Sorry, I'm trying to do something. Every time I come in this room, I cough.
Yeah, maybe that's because you're a idiot. So like, but you remember like Matilda? She said that she prefers her cookies to be ooey and gooey.
I remember that.
But now, for some reason, Gordon was saying it needed less time and that it needs to be ooey and gooey in the middle.
Which is it?
So it's kind of like they're really particular, you know. They're really picky, and I just think it's because they really didn't do a bad job, like any of them. They didn't really do like a terrible job.
No, and so he had to be picky.
I was predicting that one of them would like have milty ice cream or something. Like, I was not expecting for them to do such a good job.
Yeah, they all made perfect ice cream, which is very, very unusual because we have seen tons of cooking shows where they've made ice cream at least once, and it's hit and miss constantly. It'll be too much, and it's like in pieces. And what else? Maybe not good enough, melty. So it really shocked me too that all of their ice cream was good. So they had to, since this was really a dessert though, like with the ice cream, they had to pick out things from that they didn't like or whatever. So Remy and Alfred did the worst, and Bryson and Asher won. So they got to run up to the balcony. And of course, I made that comment about Asher that this looks like, and he's only 8, that this was like a competition, the end of the season competition dish when they have to make a dessert, if they have to make a dessert. And then Remy, and it was between Remy and Alfred to go home. And I think we hinted already who had to go home. And even though Remy had overcooked her cookie, and Alfred went home because he just had too much on his plate, and it wasn't enough. If he'd taken out 1 or 2 things, it would have been a more cohesive dish.
Which is kind of stupid because, like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been like a draw, or maybe no kid could have gone home.
Yeah. But then next time, it would have been 2 people.
Yeah, well, that would have been better in my opinion, because like as soon as they saw the 3 scoops, they were like, ugh.
Yeah, I know, and he did that. I'm sure he did that so each one could have their own.
They're like, ew.
Which, to me, that just totally makes sense. I mean, I didn't even know if they could even get enough out of 1 scoop. There's 3 adults getting ice cream out of 1 scoop. It depends on how big of the scoop. And it wasn't a very big scoop.
They were like, ew, Alfred has 3 scoops on his plate. Ew.
They acted like that was a sin.
You can't do that.
I really just don't get their behavior.
I hope that his ice cream is medium rare.
But everybody was very upset, though, that he went home.
Yeah, they did something weird, too, where
tell about that.
Gordon and Alfred, they had, like, a foot race to the exit door.
Yeah.
I thought that was really bizarre.
I didn't get that at all, either.
And I thought, like, Gordon is really, really bored or something, like, because of that other episode where he's riding around on the bicycle, and now he's doing, like, a foot race. Like, he's really bored.
And I guess he let Alfred win.
Yeah, he let him win. He was like, darn it. And then Alfred's like, yeah, I get to leave the show. I lose. Yeah. I love to lose.
Yeah, Alfred did say at the beginning, when he found out what he was going to have to do, he said, I'm not very good with desserts. But I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
He just made too many dips of ice cream. I mean, they had to criticize, and the honey, they had a honey sauce, too.
Oh, no.
And I don't know, they just had to pick out something. Because, like I said, they all did a pretty good job. So it's like a personal preference about that cookie, too. Because Daphne said, she likes for the. Well, no, they criticize that the cookie should be like a lava cake.
Yeah.
In terms of like the center of it, which means if you cook cookies and the center of the cookie isn't done, you really put it in a little bit longer. I mean, or a cake. If you put a toothpick in the center of the cake at the end of the baking time and it comes out with wet cake all over it, that means it's not done in the center.
Well, I do really like cookie dough.
Yeah, I know, and cookies are different.
I would just like to eat raw cookie dough, honestly.
That's just contrary, though. For a cookie, it wasn't lava cake. It was a cookie. So, but still, she made it, and 3-dip ice cream boy didn't. So that's it. So I don't know what they're doing next week, but they sent Alfred home, so they have 5 people next week.
Yeah, so that means there's 3 more episodes until a finale, or 2 more, and then it'll be a 3-person finale. So what do you think? You think they'll have 3 people in the finale?
Is that what we had last time?
I don't know. They keep on changing it, and they're not really consistent about it. Like on the adult MasterChef, it was just Grant and that mentally ill woman.
Right.
So it could just be a 2-person finale. What do you think? I think it'll be
Asher and Michael.
Asher and Michael.
Yep. I don't see Jordan at all. I don't see.
No, I don't see Remy.
No, I don't see Remy.
Remy is like a MasterChef Junior that would have gone home like in the first week in the earlier seasons. Like, because she seems to be just like pretty good, but she doesn't seem to be like good enough to get to the finale.
No.
I think that Bryson is basically like another Shane from season 5. Like a bigger kid who is like a country person and who is like a solid cook, but they're not gonna get to the finale. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, he could have a chance because he is really good, but like I said, he gets nervous.
Yeah.
And you can tell that. It's like me doing a solo. I would get so sick and I would shake. When you play violin, it's really hard to play when you're shaking. So anyway, but he said he gets nervous and you can tell. But he still pulls out what he's supposed to do.
He still
works
pulls out.
It works out fine. Like with the pecans, he just kept us cool and made a new batch. And she said, Daphne had said, there was a burnt one in hers, but she kind of treated it as like a smoked pecan. So she just let it go. But because they thought the whole dish was it really was, with the peaches and pecans, the cornbread. They like the cornbread twist to it.
Safi, speaking of nervousness, next month, half of the month going to be filming, and then half of the month, instead of doing like a movie theme, I thought that it would be really entertaining to play Fallout. And so, you should be really nervous about that because, the NCR is coming for you. Right?
I really don't want to do that.
Well, I was like, Safi, we can play a little Fallout. And you were like, no I have to do stuff for the channel. Well, now the Fallout has become part of the channel, so you don't have a choice. No. We can take turns, and I can help you, and it'll be really funny because...
It won't be funny because I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
I did watch the show. I thought it was a very good show.
There was this one time where I tried to get Safi to play L.A. Noire, because she complains that, video games are just all about shooting and there's nothing to them, and it's a complete lie, complete boomer attitude. And
well, I played better things. I used to play those computer games.
You don't anymore.
Myst. They don't have that stuff anymore.
That's a lie.
whatever.
And so I tried to get her to play LA Noire, because in LA Noire there really isn't a lot of shooting. I mean, there's a little bit of shooting here and there, because you're a detective, and so you'd have to shoot a suspect maybe, or shoot out their tires. But Safi could not get past the first minute. You know the part where Detective Cole is trying to drive to find out, to the gun store to find out who owned the gun. Well, Safi could not drive. She could not even drive to the gun store. So that's just to give you an idea of how much fun she's going to have playing the game.
So why do I have to waste my time?
Well, because
he's talking about 1 to 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I have work to do.
Well, at 1 to 2 hours a day playing a game or watching a movie, and then also reviewing it. So I give this episode a B+. It has been one of the better episodes of the season, I guess. But again, I just think the season's kind of lackluster. I thought that the holiday special was better because it felt more special, and it felt more like I don't know, it just felt a little more amped up. This is kind of like a quiet season, except for that Magic Castle episode where Gordon was turned into the Great Dictator or something.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
The Great British Dictator, right?
Yeah, we looked that place up too, and it is a restaurant. The food is extremely expensive.
Safi, we did that on camera.
Yeah, I know. I just can't believe it. How he was. It was kind of shocking. Very shocking.
Well,
so, anyway, I gave it the same grade, and
I bet
agree.
you do.
I agree with everything that Marco said.
Bandwagoner.
But I still liked. I still thought it was amazing that they all did good ice cream, and it's still a good group of kids.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes that just isn't the case, and we've seen it in previous seasons, where there's been one who's been a pain in the you-know-what, and been rude and a jerk.
Oh, you mean a Mafia Don?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And
there's no Mafia Don this season,
no.
thankfully.
They're very... I kind of worried about the beauty queen girl, but she's actually pretty... I don't think she'll get anything, but
she's mellow.
She's still adaptable.
She's Mellow Yellow. That's my nickname for her. Mellow Yellow.
But she does her best and gets along, and she gets along with everybody. She's not a jerk like that boy that they had a few years back. So
yeah,
I really didn't like that. So anyway, that's it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. We welcome you with open arms. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.